You always assume that if you fall onto a planet, no matter how long the drop takes, eventually you will hit the ground. But on Jupiter, the concept of a ground is a complete lie. There is no solid surface to land on, nowhere to ever stand. If you slip and fall in, you are plunging straight into a bottomless abyss, the most ruthless meat grinder in our solar system. This is a one-way trip. And to survive more cosmic journeys with us, simply hit that subscribe button. Right now, you are diving headfirst into Jupiter's uppermost atmosphere at over 106,000 miles per hour. That's 50 times faster than a rifle bullet. At this terrifying velocity, friction with the thin upper atmosphere instantly wraps your body in a glowing plasma fireball, with temperatures blazing past 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. The G-force crushes your chest with the immense weight of solid steel blocks. You cannot breathe. And the horrifying truth is, this is merely the front door to hell. Having survived the searing fireball at the outer edge, you plunge into a blindingly white layer of clouds. From afar, they look like soft, giant cotton candy glowing brightly under the sun. But do not let this breathtaking view fool you. These are pure ammonia ice crystals. The temperature plummets to a bone-chilling minus 238 degrees Fahrenheit. If your suit springs a leak, the suffocating stench of concentrated ammonia is the last thing you smell before your lungs freeze solid. As sunlight fades, you sink into a sinister reddish-brown realm of ammonium hydrosulfide clouds. The atmosphere begins to roar with a terrifying deep vibration. You are now caught in Jupiter's violent jet streams, winds tearing through the darkness at 370 miles per hour. That is more than double the ferocity of Earth's most devastating Category 5 hurricanes. You are violently tossed and tumbled like a helpless speck of dust inside a giant cosmic washing machine. A sickening stench of rotten eggs saturates the impossibly thick air. At a depth of 62 miles, the sun is completely swallowed. Welcome to absolute darkness. Suddenly, the pitch blackness erupts in violent flashes of light. You are inside the water clouds, the booming thunder forge of our solar system. Massive superbolts slice through the void, unleashing energy 1,000 times greater than any lightning strike on Earth. The thunder doesn't just rumble, it fires a devastating sonic shockwave that crushes directly against your internal organs. The pressure is mounting rapidly. From this point forward, everything will shatter the limits of human imagination. Plunging deeper past the 93-mile mark, you are swallowed by a suffocating, pitch-black abyss. Light is officially dead. The atmospheric pressure here is 20 times what you feel on Earth. In 1995, NASA sent the Galileo probe down this exact path. It survived for barely an hour. At around 100 miles deep, Jupiter's brutal grip crushed Galileo's reinforced titanium hull like a cheap tin can, before vaporizing it entirely in blistering 300-degree Fahrenheit heat. You are now drifting past its invisible grave, crossing the absolute final limit of human technology. Leaving Galileo's ghost behind, you continue your descent. But pay close attention. You are no longer falling, you are sinking. Thousands of miles down, under pressure thousands of times greater than on Earth's surface, gas stops behaving like gas. The hydrogen is squeezed so violently it transforms into a bizarre state of matter known as a supercritical fluid. It is thick and heavy like a liquid, yet it permeates everything like a gas. Your downward velocity slows to a crawl. The immense drag of this sludgy environment makes you sink heavily and hopelessly, like a pebble tossed into deep mud. The pressure hits a staggering 2,000 atmospheres. That is enough force to crumple a modern nuclear submarine like a flimsy piece of paper. Simultaneously, stifling heat radiating from the depths pushes the temperature past 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the rigid laws of physics, your physical body has already been dissolved into scattered molecules. But let us assume your consciousness survives by some dark miracle, because the absolute worst nightmare is still waiting for you below. This torturous descent could drag on for grueling weeks, assuming you were still slowly sinking. Reaching a depth of 6,200 miles, the absolute darkness around you actually begins to feel like it possesses physical mass. The pressure skyrockets to an insane 2 million atmospheres. Imagine the unimaginable weight of tens of thousands of massive elephants stacked on top of one another, balancing on every single square inch of your body. The temperature hits a blistering 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit, which is violently hotter than the surface of the sun itself. At this apocalyptic extreme, no biological structure or titanium hull could ever exist. Everything that once made up your human form has been melted down and obliterated into scattered standalone atoms. You are now nothing more than a ghost of consciousness, continuing this doomed drift. And then you fall into something the human mind was never meant to witness. Under the crushing force of millions of atmospheres, hydrogen gas molecules are squeezed so mercilessly that their outer electron shells shatter. The electrons break completely free. Welcome to the largest ocean in our entire solar system, the liquid metallic hydrogen ocean. It is not made of water, and it is not molten lava. It is a dense, alien liquid metal that would reflect light like a colossal mirror, acting as a terrifying electrical superconductor. Millions of cubic miles of this liquid metal are aggressively churning around you, generating a massive chaotic grid of electrical currents. This is the gargantuan dynamo engine responsible for forging Jupiter's deadly magnetic field. If you still had eyes, you would see ghostly veins of electrostatic lightning violently tearing through this impossibly dense, pitch-black ocean. But here lies the absolute cruelest paradox of your entire journey. Were you patiently waiting to finally strike the solid, rocky core of Jupiter? No. The deeper you go, the denser this liquid metallic ocean becomes. Eventually, its density surpasses the atomic remnants of what used to be your body. Suddenly, you realize you are no longer sinking. The sheer buoyant force of this oppressive metallic sea actively pushes back and stops you in your tracks. You are simply suspended. You are trapped forever inside a blindingly hot liquid metal void, entirely unable to swim back up to the surface and violently denied the mercy of ever hitting the bottom. It is an eternity of cosmic imprisonment. Even though your descent has been violently halted, tens of thousands of miles beneath your suspended remnants lies the true heart of this colossal planetary machine. Unlike human fantasies of a solid sphere resembling Earth, Jupiter lacks a clearly defined boundary for its core. Recent data reveals it is a fuzzy core, a terrifying, slushy amalgamation of rock, ultra-heavy materials, and an alien ice that somehow exists under mind-bending heat. The temperature at the center reaches an apocalyptic 43,000 degrees Fahrenheit, burning fiercely at 4 times the heat of the sun's surface. The pressure peaks at an unfathomable 40 million atmospheres. In this ultra-extreme environment, scientists theorize that pure carbon is squeezed so ruthlessly that it crystallizes, forging massive diamond rainstorms that sink endlessly into the planet's darkest depths. But for all of that crushing cosmic majesty happening below, you can only sense it from afar. The atomic mass that once formed your physical human shape and the lingering echo of your consciousness have now fully dissolved, becoming an eternal piece of this roaring metallic ocean. You embarked on this terrifying one-way journey, hoping to eventually strike the bottom of a giant planet. If this journey expanded your mind and you want to survive more cosmic explorations, leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell. But as for your fate here, the cold truth is, Jupiter has no bottom to ever touch, and absolutely no ground to stand on. It simply swallows you, mercilessly crushes you, and keeps you forever.